You're about to learn all of the key action items and takeaways from this entire book in just a few minutes. Do Hard Things is a guide to redefining toughness, offering practical strategies to build resilience, embrace challenges, and find meaning in discomfort, making it essential for anyone looking to grow stronger in life, work, and relationships. Let's have a productive life. Chapter 1. From tough coaches, tough parents, and tough guys to finding real inner strength. Let's start by examining how we've traditionally viewed toughness. For many of us, toughness brings to mind images of stoicism, brute force, or even suppressing emotion. Think of a football player gritting through a broken bone or a military drill sergeant shouting commands. But this traditional view of toughness has some real downsides. It's been woven into coaching, parenting, and leadership styles in ways that sometimes do more harm than good. Take, for example, legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight. His teams were undeniably successful, yet his methods, often involving humiliation, fear, and even physical intimidation, left a trail of emotional scars. True toughness, as the author emphasizes, is not about showing no weakness. It's about resilience, knowing when to show strength and when to allow yourself to be vulnerable. As the book puts it, toughness isn't about showing no weakness, it's about knowing when to show strength and when to show vulnerability. Effective leaders and parents balance high expectations with genuine warmth and support, building trust rather than fear. Here's a practical takeaway. When you're in a leadership role, practice setting high standards while also being emotionally supportive. Reflect on moments when you might have relied on fear-driven authority and consider alternatives. And finally, embrace vulnerability. It's not a weakness, but a way to build deeper trust and connection. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 2. Sink or Swim. How we took the wrong lesson from the military. Next, let's dive into the idea of the sink or swim mentality, a concept borrowed from military training that's been misapplied in other areas of life. The military often uses extreme challenges, like boot camps, to prepare soldiers for combat. While this approach makes sense in that context, it doesn't work as well in schools, sports teams, or workplaces. Yet we see it all the time. Students are left to struggle without guidance, or employees are thrown into high-stress situations with little preparation. The book argues that real toughness isn't about breaking people down. It's about building them up to handle struggles effectively. Hardship is a tool for growth, the author writes, but only when wielded wisely. To create resilience, we need to prepare people for challenges, not just throw them into the deep end and hope they swim. So, what can we do instead? Replace sink or swim tests with structured opportunities for growth. For example, in a workplace, this might mean providing mentorship and training before assigning a difficult project. In your own life, focus on preparation and learning rather than expecting instant success under pressure. A little preparation goes a long way toward making challenges manageable and meaningful. Chapter 3. Accept what you are capable of. Chapter 3 shifts gears to focus on self-awareness and the importance of accepting your limitations. Our culture often pushes us to aim for perfection, whether it's at work, in relationships, or with personal goals. But striving for perfection without acknowledging our current limits can lead to burnout or failure. The truth is, strength begins with knowing your limits and working within them. As the book says, you can't grow from a lie, accept where you are, and build from there. This isn't about settling or giving up. It's about setting realistic, incremental goals that match your current abilities while challenging you to grow. Denying your limits won't make them disappear. It just adds unnecessary stress. By embracing where you are right now, you can focus your energy on meaningful progress. Here's an exercise to try. Take some time to reflect on your strengths and areas for growth. Be honest. What's realistic for you to achieve in the short term? Then set small, specific goals that you can work toward. Celebrate those small victories along the way. They're the building blocks for long-term success. Chapter 4. True confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud. Here's a crucial distinction: confidence versus insecurity. True confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's quiet, steady, and self-assured. In contrast, insecurity often overcompensates. It's loud, defensive, and sometimes even arrogant. Think about someone who constantly brags about their accomplishments. That's not confidence. It's often a cover for deeper self-doubt. As the book says, confidence whispers, insecurity shouts. The author explains that genuine confidence comes from inner assurance, a quiet belief in your worth and abilities. When you're confident, you don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You're comfortable with your strengths, and equally important, you accept your flaws. Building this kind of confidence takes consistent effort. It's about self-validation, celebrating your wins and learning from your mistakes, not relying on external approval. To put this into action, start by identifying moments when you feel the need to overcompensate. Ask yourself, what's triggering that reaction? Next, practice self-validation. Instead of seeking approval, take time to acknowledge your own progress and strengths. And finally, focus on what aligns with your values rather than chasing what others might think of you. When you do, you'll start to cultivate a quiet, unshakable confidence. Chapter 5. Know when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. This chapter focuses on a lesson we often overlook. Sometimes the toughest thing you can do is let go. Society tends to glorify perseverance. Never give up is a mantra we've all heard. But the author challenges this notion, arguing that quitting isn't always a failure. In fact, quitting can be a strategic choice, a way of recognizing that something no longer serves your goals or values. As the book says, there's strength in letting go when something no longer serves you. Understanding the difference between giving up and making a smart decision is key. Perseverance is valuable, but continuing at all costs can lead to burnout, wasted energy, and even harm. Letting go is about clarity, knowing when to pivot and redirect your efforts towards something that matters more. It's not about weakness, it's about wisdom. Here's how you can apply this. Take a close look at your current commitments. Are they aligned with your values and long-term goals? If not, consider whether it's time to step back. Create a decision-making framework to help you evaluate whether to persist or pivot, and practice letting go of projects or relationships that drain your energy without adding value. This isn't quitting, it's recalibrating your efforts toward what truly matters. Chapter 6. Your emotions are messengers, not dictators. Now let's talk about emotions. They're powerful, and they play a big role in how we navigate challenges. But here's the key. Emotions are messengers, not dictators. They provide valuable information, but they shouldn't be in the driver's seat. As the book says, feelings are signals, not solutions. Suppressing emotions doesn't work. It only leads to stress and poor decision-making. Instead, the author advocates for a balanced approach. Acknowledge your emotions, understand what they're trying to tell you, and then use that information as a guide. This reframing turns emotions from obstacles into tools for growth and resilience. To make this practical, start by practicing mindfulness. Pay attention to your emotions in real time and label them. This simple act can reduce their intensity. Reflect on what triggers certain emotions and dig into the underlying causes. Finally, use your emotions as data points to inform decisions, but always pair them with logic and reasoning. This balanced approach helps you navigate challenges with clarity and composure. Chapter 7. Own the voice in your head. We all have that inner dialogue running constantly, shaping how we see ourselves and the world. The problem is that this self-talk can either build us up or tear us down. It can be a powerful tool for motivation and resilience, or a destructive force leading to doubt and defeat. The key, as the author points out, is to approach your self-talk with awareness and intentionality. The most important conversation you'll have is the one with yourself, the book reminds us. Negative self-talk is sneaky. It often disguises itself as realism, but is, in reality, criticism we'd never direct at someone else. Imagine if you spoke to a friend the way you sometimes speak to yourself. Would they feel encouraged? Likely not. That's why the book emphasizes, if you wouldn't say it to a friend, don't say it to yourself. Productive self-talk isn't about false positivity, it's about reframing challenges in a constructive, realistic way. To put this into practice, monitor your self-talk for negativity. When you catch yourself being overly critical, pause and rewrite the narrative in your head. Try writing affirmations or motivational statements tailored to situations you find challenging. And don't forget gratitude. It's a simple but profound way to shift your inner dialogue toward positivity. By building this habit, you'll turn self-talk into a tool for resilience and growth. Chapter 8. Keep your mind steady. In moments of chaos or pressure, your mind can feel like a storm, a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions pulling you in different directions. This chapter emphasizes the importance of cultivating mental steadiness, that calm center that allows you to think clearly and act decisively. As the book puts it, a steady mind is your greatest weapon in chaos. But steadiness isn't passivity. It's what the author calls controlled power, a strength that comes from clarity and focus. When we let reactivity take over, we're prone to impulsive decisions and emotional burnout. Think of a heated argument where one harsh word spirals into 10 more, or a stressful situation where panic leads to rash actions. Cultivating a steady mind allows you to rise above these reactions, maintaining focus even when the pressure is high. To build this skill, the author suggests mindfulness and stress management practices. Start with something simple, like a few minutes of deep breathing each day, which can help center your mind. Create rituals for grounding yourself during stressful moments, whether it's stepping outside, journaling, or even just pausing to collect your thoughts. Finally, identify specific triggers that disrupt your mental steadiness and develop strategies to address them. With consistent practice, you'll find yourself navigating high-pressure situations with greater ease and control. Chapter 9. Turn the dial so you don't spiral. Stress and adversity are inevitable, but how we respond makes all the difference. This chapter introduces the idea of managing emotional intensity like a volume dial. You don't need to eliminate stress entirely. You just need to adjust it to a manageable level. You don't need to eliminate stress. You need to learn to manage the volume, the author says. Without this awareness, small stressors can escalate into full-blown emotional spirals. Picture this. You're facing a challenge at work. A minor setback triggers frustration, which then snowballs into self-doubt and a spiral of negativity. The key is catching these spirals early. Every spiral starts with a single misstep. Catch it early, the book advises. By recognizing the first signs of escalation, you can take small, deliberate steps to regain control before things snowball. So how do you stop a spiral in its tracks? Start by practicing awareness. Pay attention to when your emotions begin to intensify and take a moment to pause. Reframe negative thoughts into balanced perspectives. For example, instead of thinking, "I always mess up," try, "This is a tough situation, but I can learn from it." Grounding techniques like deep breathing, physical activity, or stepping away for a moment can also help reset your mind. These small adjustments can make a big difference, helping you navigate challenges without unnecessary turmoil. Chapter 10. Build the foundation to do hard things. Let's talk about building the foundation for resilience and toughness. This chapter drives home an essential truth. Toughness isn't something you summon in a single heroic act of willpower. It's built on a foundation of consistent habits and preparation. Think about it. When you face a challenge, your ability to respond doesn't come out of thin air. As the book puts it, you don't rise to the level of the challenge, you fall to the level of your preparation. In other words, the small daily actions you take are what determine your strength when it matters most. Consider the idea of preparation. Whether you're running a marathon or preparing for a major presentation, success depends on the structure and habits you've established beforehand. Big wins, the book reminds us, are built on small, consistent actions. It's about layering deliberate effort over time to create a foundation strong enough to handle anything. To apply this, start by establishing a daily routine that builds mental and physical resilience. What's one small habit you can adopt today? Maybe it's journaling your goals each morning or doing 10 minutes of stretching. Reflect on past challenges. Where could better preparation have made a difference? By focusing on habits and preparation, you're not just building toughness for today's challenges, you're preparing for tomorrow's as well. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 11. Find meaning in discomfort. Discomfort is something most of us instinctively avoid, but this chapter offers a powerful reframe. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's an opportunity. Challenges and struggles, while difficult, can become meaningful if we approach them with the right mindset. As the author reminds us, discomfort is not the enemy, it's the path. The key is to see adversity as a teacher rather than a barrier. How do we do that? By reframing our struggles as opportunities for growth. When you face hardship, ask yourself, what can this experience teach me? Purpose and perspective are what transform pain into progress. When you find meaning in the struggle, the book explains, the struggle becomes bearable. This doesn't make challenges easier, but it makes them worthwhile. To practice this, start by reflecting on a current challenge in your life. What lessons might it hold for you? Reframe discomfort as a way to build strength and resilience rather than something to fear. And don't forget to practice gratitude for these lessons. They may not be easy, but they're shaping you into someone stronger and more capable. With this perspective, every struggle becomes a step forward. Do Hard Things reminds us that resilience and strength are not about avoiding struggles, but about building the habits, mindset, and perspective to face them effectively. By owning our self-talk, staying steady under pressure, and finding purpose in discomfort, we can transform challenges into opportunities for growth. This book offers not just tools, but a new way of thinking about toughness, one rooted in preparation, balance, and meaning. Ultimately, it empowers us to face life's difficulties with clarity, courage, and a deeper sense of purpose.